Okay, I am on my phone. Can you hear me? Okay. For some reason, hang on a minute. If this hangs up, I'll come back on, okay? Now there, okay. Yeah, I'm on my phone. My computer is being stubborn today. Didn't know what's wrong with it. Oh wait, it might be working. I wonder what happens if I hop off my phone. I don't know what would work. Or not.
I'm gonna turn on a light real quick.
Okay.
Wow. Special.
Maybe that'll help a little. Oh, I gotta find a place to put this.
Okay, let me see. Okay, cool. All right, I told Janine I was hopping on. How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Good. Oh, it is a muddy mess in my backyard. Mercy, you lay down.
It's not here right now. Well, we have rock anyways. It's wet, but.
Well, my German has made paths all over my yard, and it's raining on there, and it's getting just so muddy.
Basil.
What is that?
Basil.
What are you doing? You're just outside in this beautiful weather, and
I am. The sun's coming up. No, this basil tree was almost dead. It was nearly dead, and then we've gotten so much rain this month. It looks amazing.
oh, I love basil. It's one of my favorites. Hang on, guys.
Makes me want to make pesto.
Oh, yes. Let's see if I can get a pad of paper. I'm just going to shut my computer. I wonder if I can hop on my computer.
Oh, my copy.
I'm a little nervous to do that. I don't want it. I'm going to use a pumpkin as my little. I'm going to hold it up for me.
Using a whole bunch of
You can see this pumpkin. That's like another, like they did this whole pumpkin thing. Now there was a little pink balloon for his nose, and then my mother painted this side and Bree painted this side, so they just been having all kinds of fun with pumpkins. She comes over on Tuesday to spend time with us. Actually to have a play date with Bree. And I try to work and get stuff done while she does that with Bree.
That's wonderful, though.
It is.
Especially that you have that.
Oh, yeah. I know.
We had to bribe my mother-in-law to take most of the kids this weekend so that we could just have a date night that we haven't had and an overnight date night. I don't remember the last time.
Oh, let me tell.
So add a little more. With both bags? No, stir it up. You'll be surprised once you cook it. Sorry.
I'm just texting me.
I left my 9-year-old in charge of making breakfast for everyone.
That's good. That's good.
Except he's struggling, and it's oatmeal packets. Oh.
Hello.
I'm on my phone. Oh. You have so many group texts.
That's one cup.
Okay, I'm on my phone. Everything looks okay, even if it's on my phone. It does.
So do
Yeah.
3/4.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, but
Okay.
Well, go lay back down.
How are you this morning, Miss Janine?
good. How's everybody?
Surviving.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Well,
every day.
we could start. I didn't send them one of your videos today because they're 6, and that way I thought they could just take this week. There's so much information, and that they could continue looking at those and go over this week if they have any questions or whatever. But I know Megan said that she had some questions from when I was on with her. You don't have any questions?
I have one, but it's really not important. So
It's not important.
Well,
Okay.
we had somebody who didn't think that they could talk about something, and this is an open. We talk about everything here.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you think isn't appropriate, it is.
no, it's not. It's just it's hard to explain. It's like on my left side, I have like when I am exercising sometimes, it's like a nerve. It twinges and it feels like it's long and it goes sideways. And then if I touch it, it feels really weird. Like it's kind of numb but not numb. It's like that.
I'm trying to turn my volume. Wait, where is it located?
It's on my left side and kind of like from my belly button up to my ribs. So it goes like that. And it's like it's kind of numb, but it's not totally numb, and it feels weird, like a nerve. That's what I keep thinking it is, that it's like a nerve, because it's like that little, like when you hit your funny bone?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. That's what it feels like.
Okay. So it's transient. It like goes, it comes, and then it goes.
Yeah, and it's usually when I've done a lot, like I'm nearly finished with a workout, and I will engage my TVA one more time, and it like twinges like that, and it'll keep doing it when I engage until I rest.
Okay. Does it feel like a cramp?
Would hit your funny bone. It's just like a weird feeling. It's not a pain, really.
What's that?
It's not really a pain. It's just like a twinge, like a weird twinge. And it'll sometimes keep doing it, and it'll do it on its own. It'll just like keep spasming, kind of.
Does it ever happen when you're like rolling in bed or transitioning?
No. The one time when it was really bad, I was doing tricep curls. So I was going like this up and down, and one time and it started doing it, and then it didn't stop for like an hour that time.
I'm thinking it's your iliopsoas muscle, which is the hip flexor, that it's trying to kick in because your TVA is fatigued, maybe.
Okay.
So
from my rib down to my belly button. So
yeah, it attaches to your spine, and it goes. So you're saying it's more in the middle or on the left? I didn't hear that. What? I don't know why I'm having a hard time hearing. Wait, let me get my headset on. Maybe I need that. I saw your mouth moving, but I didn't see any words coming out. Amanda, did you hear her?
No, she's quiet.
I don't know. Maybe my volume is messed up.
Yeah, I turned my volume up as high as I could, and I still am struggling. So here, hold on.
Maybe my volume is messed up. Or maybe I have the boxes under the microphone. I don't know.
That might be.
Okay.
Like a pack of cards to elevate it or something.
We'll see if this will work. So is it in the center or to the left?
It's on the left.
Twinge. Like how far from the belly button?
It goes from the belly button up to my left rib cage. So it's
Okay.
like,
that could be your oblique muscle too.
that's kind of what I thought, because I looked online to try to find out what is there. And that's what it said, but that it goes like this angle, I don't know.
Right.
Because aren't your obliques this way?
No, the obliques are like putting your hands in your pocket, and then that's one, and then the other one kind of goes over the top like that. So like you have external obliques that go like this, and then the internal obliques are like that.
Do what, Megan?
It could be external obliques because it is that angle.
Yeah, like putting your hands in your pockets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the same thing we did with those trigger points on your rib cage, you could do over on that side. Just be careful if you come across a thump in your muscle. I think we talked about that, because you don't want to be on your aorta.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to make yourself pass out.
No, that would be bad.
No.
Okay, so that's kind of what I thought it was. So that's why I didn't think it was terribly important, because it's kind of hard to explain, and it's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me every day. It's just I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. What is that?
Yeah, no, I would just kind of go from your belly button up to that ribs and just palpate and see if you can find something tender, because there's probably a spasm in there.
Okay. All right. That's all.
So, Megan, tell me like your progress that you're having.
It's hard to tell. I mean, nothing terribly visible.
Okay. And sometimes that's going to be, that can be kind of last.
Yeah.
That I've noticed. Yeah. Even when closing up a diastasis and stuff, it can be, they can be closed up and it still takes a little while.
Okay. Well, I tried to measure. I like did my best, because even when you measured, you were like, I can't really tell. I'm like, weird. But I think you said 3.5 to 4.
How about like your depth? Can you feel anything?
It's better. It's getting better.
That's what I'm happy about. Okay, so
I used to have a place that was purple, like above my belly button. It looked like a shadow all the time. It just looked discolored, and now it's pink all the time. It's like the color of the rest of my belly. It's not purple anymore.
Was it like a line, like the line you get when down the middle?
It looks like kind of a bruise. It just in that sunken in place, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't the same color as the rest of my belly. And now it's the same color as the rest, and it's not as sunken in.
You might have had stagnant blood flow there that was just sitting there. Like that sometimes can happen, and by stressing that area with the exercises, it's helping to promote blood flow through it, maybe?
Because it went away.
Okay.
well, good. Okay.
It feels less deep.
Okay. That's important, because you could really feel her pulse.
You can still feel it, but it's not as like right there.
Okay.
It's getting better. It's just not, like 8 weeks and bam, I look amazing.
Well, those are infomercials that are false and myths. They
Yes.
lifelong habits.
Yeah.
What is there any area that you're stuck in?
Well, I was a little bit discouraged because I went ahead and tried to start week 7, and I still cannot do some of those workout moves. I'm still just like, nope, not happening. So
That's okay.
I went back to week 4 because those were really comfy for me. They were a challenge, but I can do those.
Good.
So I'm doing week 4 workouts again, and then I'm going to go to 5 and 6, and then maybe try 7 again in a few weeks. So.
And you've done week 5 and week 6 workouts, and those are good. Okay. So any at all in week 4 that was kind of hard before, and that can you tell you're progressing?
Yes, I can
Okay.
do, like, when I first started, I could not do even modified toe taps. Like, I couldn't keep my knees up without coning.
Mhm.
And now I can.
Okay,
Now
good.
I can do that, and I can get it to where my knees are more 90 degrees now. They're not as close to my body. So every time I do them, I just move my knees out a little further. And
You
then
can do.
eventually I can do the straight leg ones, but I'm taking it slow.
So celebrate those victories, because those are victories.
And I am stronger. My husband was like, "You are so much stronger now than you were." And so, yeah, it's true. I am, but it's frustrating because I'm one that's like, it says you should be able to do this, and I can't do it. So.
Oh, just because you're in the program week 7 doesn't mean you're there. That's why I always tell women, listen to your body. You know, some women can do it and some women are not going to be able to do it. Some women really are like, I just want to do the stretches and the breathing right now and the alignment, and that's perfectly fine. So just listen to your body. Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, I was gonna say, my first time around, I did I think 3 weeks and went back to week 1.
Yeah.
So, and then I kind of stayed there in those first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and those are good exercises. Those are good exercises. And you can always try to even up the weights if you want, you know, and see, and that can help you get stronger even with the easier ones, because those basic exercises are very important. And also, are you doing like the stretches and stuff for your hips that Janine talks about?
That feels really good.
Do what?
Good.
Really good.
I need to wipe it more.
Those are good.
Okay. All right.
Oh, we kind of had a setback this week because we've all had a head cold.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everybody got sick again.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
This week has just been kind of, I haven't really done anything this week because I can't breathe.
And
Yeah.
that's called life.
Mm-hmm.
So I've
It's just
kind of
called
given
life.
myself a break. I've been doing the breathing, and it sounds really snuffly and stuffy, but I've been doing that. I haven't really tried to do the workouts because.
Yeah. And then, well, your body needs the break. Yeah.
I took a lot longer with my third baby, even though I knew what to do. Every time I would try to exhale and contract my TVA, I'd get into a coughing spell because I had bronchitis. And it went on for weeks because I wasn't getting sleep. You know, when you have a baby she was born 3 weeks early, so she was real teeny, so she was eating frequently, and then she was falling asleep while eating. So I just felt like all I was doing was feeding my baby, and I just could not progress. And I had to wait until the cough went away, you know. So illnesses it is tough to do the breathing when you're struggling to breathe right, like because of mucus, you know, if mucus is in your throat, you know. So
That's hard. But we're getting better. I think the kids are definitely over it now, and I feel less congested. So
that's good.
it's getting better. But a congested baby,
Yeah.
I know.
She has not been sleeping, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's hard when they're congested.
So you have to consider the sleep deprivation you have to conserve your energy. So you do what you can to get through the day, and then you're kind of in survival mode a bit, but that is perfectly normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it hit at a time when I'm still trying to deal with all the hormone fluxes and stuff from her cutting down her feedings, and so it's just kind of a crazy week, and I've been like, okay, whatever. And then my husband comes to me the other day and says, I think I'm going to go to seminary. And I was like, what? Okay. So there's like a ton of stuff going on, and we're moving, and he's thinking about going to seminary, and we get sick, and I'm sort of weaning the baby, and I'm like, oh. So that's why it's
easier.
because life has happened, and I've just not been really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go with the call when you get it. And what I've learned is if you snuff it too much, then it comes back and you kind of get hit up with a 2x4 in your head. That's what happened when I started my business in 2009. I mean, it was right after the financial crash. I'm thinking, there's no way I can do this. Everybody was just like, Janine, why would you quit your job? And I did it. I had to take a leap of faith. So, sometimes you have to do things that don't feel comfortable.
Well, I think he's going to. I think it's something he's going to do. He's about it, and I've been praying about it. It feels like the right thing to do. So now we just have to wait and see if he gets into a seminary. So
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. It's exciting too. Yeah.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
We have enough sufficient for one day, right?
One day. That's where Amanda's like, yeah.
Sometimes hour by hour.
Yeah.
That was yesterday. My cycle was so heavy yesterday. I was useless. I actually, normally I can't sleep past 7 hours. And I slept 9.5 hours last night.
That's what your body needed.
Yeah, well, I almost went into the ER because I was bleeding so heavy yesterday. So I knew that my husband came home and said, go to bed. I was like, okay, thanks.
Wow.
I did that. Sometimes I do that, but I have clots that can be, that can be this big.
I honestly don't know because I've always, this is probably way too much, but I don't bleed very well into the pad. I actually do more into the toilet when I go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom a lot.
I'm that way too.
So all I know is that it's really dark and really deep. So I just don't know. I just know I bleed a lot, but I don't know. It was hard yesterday.
And it makes you tired, huh?
Yeah, because
I'm Optiferin.
I'm already borderline anemic, so it gets really bad for a couple of days once I start.
Have you tried blackstrap molasses at all?
No, I haven't though.
Because I started taking that. I take 1 tablespoon a day, and that has helped my anemia so much. It's a sugar. I mean, it is a sugar. But it's, to me, I just stick it in some tea, and it helped. I think that's probably what helped the most. Was I was doing 2 at one point, and now I'm just down to 1. But that helped me. So
Yeah, I've heard of
give
that.
it a try.
I've been drinking my greens, and I've been taking my calcium and my iron, and I'm normally not good about it, so I'm trying to be really good about it this time.
Well,
and then I heard yesterday that going into it, my friend's going for natural medicine and nursing, but she said going into your cycle, you're supposed to take a lot of calcium. You're supposed to up your calcium going into it to help. I don't know, but at this point, I'm willing to do anything.
Yeah. Well, did you do the stuff like your homework last week? Did you get to it?
I did. I have so many trigger points that are starting to finally release, but it's been so bad. It's been nice seeing it, as it releases, sometimes it feels worse because it's starting to let go and my body doesn't know what to do. Hey, go inside and eat. Sorry.
Okay.
So, but it's been I have spasms in my back, or not quite spasms. They're on the border of spasms, but they're all getting better.
Good.
And my knee's better. So that's
just doing the things from last week.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have questions this week, or that you need to stuff that you came across while you were doing it?
No.
Okay.
I have a complete lack of motivation right now.
Well, would you just tell her to keep doing the homework from last week, Janine?
Sure. Do the homework from last week, Amanda.
Do it, and then what do you need motivation with?
It's just that time.
Okay.
It's just, I know that this is the time that I just have to take it slow and just do my releases and do my stretches because that's the only thing that feels good right now.
Okay. Yeah. So just do that. And your knee, like if you're doing even squatting to like pick something up, or with the kids, or are you doing like lunges? I mean, how's your knee with those? Like if you're lunging down to pick something up, how are you doing that?
Right now, I'm actually trying to do more deadlifts than anything.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because it doesn't put as much pressure, it feels like, when it was bothering me.
Okay. And your shoulder is better?
Yeah, it's doing better since I've gotten the trigger points to release.
Good. You're going to
Your
get
brain
back.
is what holds it there, so.
Your brain is what holds it there. Is that what you said, Janine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the brain, the neurological system gets revved up by our diet and stress. So.
Well, that explains a lot. I felt really tight lately, and I'm like, gotta release that tightness and pressure because it's up here.
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's like, it's the feedback going to the brain. So, I mean, sometimes even when you're under stress, putting an ice pack between your shoulder blades just to calm down the sympathetic nervous system. Like just lie flat or sit with an ice pack right between the blades. That can help.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Between the shoulder blades.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when people come in with overactive nervous systems, like they're just so hardwired, that's one of the things we recommend. Or even heat. It could be heat or cold, but if you're in pain, sometimes cold is better between the shoulder blades because that kind of calms down the input going to the brain. So it could be like a neurological reset.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I just
It's just
thought
we forget to do it. One of those things to add to your.
So it actually gets revved up by even diet, the neurological. That's crazy.
Well, when you think of the vagus nerve that comes out of the gut, it goes right up the left side and it revs things up. So I always find that people have more inflammation, musculoskeletal inflammation on the left side. Like when I do dry needling, it's usually their left side that reacts more than their right side. But I just think it's like I had a really bad week last week myself. I had one migraine, and then I had my headache that comes like this. Oh, and Olivia, you knew because I think when we met last time, I had that aura. But, you know, cyclically, I had inflammation from my menstrual cycle. And then, I don't know, there's a couple things I ate that probably just revved it up. So they're off my list now. And I wasn't doing as much self-care, you know, like I was just doing too much and not taking time for me. So I learned these lessons the hard way too, but I could turn on, I say it's like a light switch. When you eat something that your gut, or if your gut is just inflamed, it just turns on those myofascial trigger points. And it's crazy. It could literally be like that they turn on. So
that's why it's so important to pay attention to your own body with what you're eating and how it's making you feel, huh?
Yep. And, you know,
That makes,
yeah. Does that make
that
sense?
makes sense. Yeah, because typically when I feel like really inflamed, I feel it a lot in my left joints, like down the left side, more than I do. Like I feel it all over, but I feel it more on the left. That's really. Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, and it can even affect your mood too. I mean, they're saying 90% of serotonin comes from the gut. So, you know, if we're feeling bad mentally, we're feeling bad physically, it's time for a gut check, you know, like, and that's where Dancy probably has a lot more, I mean, I could tell you what I've done, but, you know, she's the expert in the nutrition part, but it's just keeping the gut healthy in as many ways as possible. And you know, sometimes I just do, well, we've talked about fasting, we've talked about bone broth and and collagen. So sometimes I'll just make a collagen smoothie as I head out the door and put almond milk in it.
Oh yeah.
And then my stomach just flattens. It's really crazy. And the people that see me that often will be struggling with their diastasis or with the bloating, it is the gut. So, you know, if they're already compromised in the integrity of the abdominal wall and then they get puffy from their diet, then it feels like you're taking steps backwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why, that it's just amazing. People, they'll be healed up. And then when I say, you know, the bloating's not going away or the tummy's not, and then I'll say, okay, well, how much have you worked on your gut? Well, not much. So, and then when they start doing that, that's when they start seeing even more of the visible changes with the gut stuff.
Like, I think we can control diet if we plan. Now, if we're stressed and we're surviving, that's where we then go and we eat the foods that are in the pantry and we don't feel like making something, you know. But I try once a week, like, to cut up carrots, raw carrots, you know, organic carrots. I have to do everything organic just because of how sensitive my gut is. But, you know, like I said, I'll just do a bone broth smoothie, or like last night I made white chili, but I put a little bit of pepper in it, this Cajun seasoning, and this morning and last night I kind of woke up with a slight headache and I'm like, darn it, I knew I shouldn't have done peppers. Like, to me, peppers are my culprit. So I could be doing great, and then I add a seasoning to something, or like those additives and the labels. So I'm really trying to stay away from packaged foods and just eat clean.
Do you think your body ever gets used to those, or will tolerate it, or do you think you personally have to stay away from it, like, forever?
I think it's sometimes a combination of foods too, you know, like maybe you can have it one time, but if you have it with that plus the other irritant, then it really throws you off like a tornado. But I don't think the food that we have available to us, like anything that's made in a factory, I just don't think is good. You know, our human body, God didn't create us to eat something that was artificially made. And if we just look at what our ancestors ate, they didn't have all this packaged stuff, you know, and
right.
And they ate it fresh, and they ate according to the season. So, but it's tough because you go to the grocery store and you can get anything, so you can get food, but it's not always good for you. Like, even off-season fruit isn't the best thing for us too.
That's true.
So, like, right now we should be eating squash and pumpkin and apples and all the things that are in harvest, you know?
Yeah. Squash, pumpkins, apples. Yeah. I've got an acorn squash over there I can't wait to make. I love acorn squash. It's my favorite.
Yeah. But again, we get lazy. I got a spaghetti squash at home. I got a butternut squash. I have all this stuff. I just got to do it. So,
Yeah.
My pressure saved me and my squash.
Your what?
The pressure cooker has saved me and my squash.
Oh.
Has it? I haven't.
I throw a whole spaghetti squash in there, and it's done in 15 minutes.
Really?
Can you do that in an Instapot with like acorn squash?
Yeah, mine's an electric pressure cooker, just the same. So you just poke it whole, and you throw it in there with a cup of water, and you set it for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It might change your life.
Yeah. Wow.
Janine, I don't have a time because I'm on my phone, so I'm not watching the time for you.
Okay.
But
it's 10:22.
Okay.
My time.
Do you have any advice for herniated disc that somebody's not wanting to have surgery? I've heard a lot of things, you know, with movement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, correct movement, correct alignment really does help a lot. Would you go in depth more with would you do all the hip releases and everything?
I would not really. You have to treat mechanical back pain differently. So it's usually depends on if the pain or the symptoms are below the knee, and it depends on if there's a deformity. So
well, she's a cop and got injured, And so I didn't
Okay.
know. I don't know. I mean, do you think she needs to go to somebody local? I was gonna send her to you, like for a, but I don't know if she needs hands-on dry
Yeah.
needling, anything like that.
Is she somebody in Ohio?
She's here. So I was gonna
Yeah.
like do a call with you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in the process of getting my telehealth thing figured out, but again, across state lines, like
But we
I could do
could-
it through you. Yeah, I could do it through you, but I can't see her directly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would recommend a McKenzie therapist.
McKenzie therapist. Okay.
McKenzie. Yeah, McKenzie is the name of the system of treating it when you have a herniated disc. Like no knees to chest, no bending forward. It's usually bending the opposite way, backwards or even sideways, because you have to mechanically put the jelly back in the disc, in the middle of the disc. So, and depending on if it was confirmed via MRI or other, I mean, I know
MRI.
a lot of people. Yeah, but even then, like you can get a film. It's how you're presenting clinically. Like there's people who have herniated discs on MRI that don't have surgery, but I've seen people who didn't have anything show up on an MRI and they come in and they can't straighten up, or they're crooked, or they can't put weight on their leg. So it depends on how far down the symptoms are, if it's below the knee, and if they have neurological deficits. And if they do, then they definitely have to be evaluated by somebody local that could walk them through the exercises. I mean, sitting is a horrible thing when you have a herniated disc.
She's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
she got injured on the job.
Yeah. Well, then that should be a workers' comp thing. She should be able to go see somebody for
She
workers'
is,
comp.
and she's going to physical therapy, but I don't think it helps. And I've heard a lot of people with like movement specialists, and I do a lot of similar stuff for people with movement. I didn't know, just getting her to move correctly would probably.
But she may. If you could see 10 therapists and get 10 different opinions, I guess.
Right.
The best method for getting that to reduce is the McKenzie method. So if she has a McKenzie trained therapist, now if she has a therapist that is not an expert in the back, then she needs to find somebody else. Because some PT clinics will have, like I remember when I was a new graduate, I would have 3 new patients a day, and I might have somebody with a shoulder issue, somebody with a knee issue, and somebody with a back issue. Like it was hard to become a master at one thing when you're treating everything. So I specialized in the back and the neck, and then from there I specialized in the pelvis. So I'm more of a, pelvic and back and hip specialist than I am like an ankle specialist. So, I would fake my way through some of those evals with, and so I've done it. We've all done it, so she needs a specialist in the back.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, if you think
helps.
it would help, but go ahead, Amanda.
No, I was going to say that's so true. My grandmother just had to go to one recently because of a sciatic issue, but she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which a lot of people don't know anything about. And her first therapist that she saw in the office had no idea and was actually causing pelvic issues because
it's an instability.
Yeah, the Ehlers-Danlos starting to affect her pelvic area, and the first person they were dealing with was dealing with it wrong because they didn't know anything about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So it's really interesting to see. But luckily, the manager of the place knew and kind of corrected it and got her better.
I think that's a fairly new diagnosis for people that have hypermobility, like where the joints pop out of place. Like we didn't have a name for it in the past, but so that's probably
she was diagnosed 50 years ago.
Oh, 50? Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, she was actually diagnosed on by, I can't remember what they're called. Basically, she went down to the basement and they diagnosed her there. It was a person who usually deals with dead bodies that diagnosed.
I was going to say a mortician. I mean, I'm sitting here going, that sounds like a mortician.
Yeah, basically, it was pretty bad. But she was dislocating her knees, and then it's gotten further worse. It's affected her shoulder and her pelvis.
Yeah, stability is a key for that, and dry needling is really great too for people with.
Well, she's had over 20 knee surgeries now.
Oh my goodness! Wow. But yeah, you have to see a specialist. So, and then Olivia, it would help also maybe to have tape down, like just one strip of tape, a really long strip of tape from her buttock or her back all the way down, depending on how far down her pain is. Like if she has pain to her calf, a strip of tape all the way down to her calf. One just long strip that goes along the back of the sciatic nerve. I've done that
Just
when I
from
didn't have.
the bottom of her butt, or
Well, it could be from the lumbar area and then just straight down, and then on a slight stretch forward. So that would be the only time to, really bend forward is to put the tape on. But I've done that when I don't have time to move right. If I have 10 patients in a day and I don't have time to stretch my back and I have pain in my leg, I've got to do something quick. So.
Okay, I'll tell her about the tape, and then do you think it would be more beneficial for her to look for a therapist here, or do you think doing a call with you or me and you?
Well, if she can't find somebody there, which there's a lot of people that specialize in the back. She just needs to make sure she's with a back specialist, especially if she's not getting the results from that therapist.
Okay.
But it gets tricky when you have a workers' comp thing because they give you a C9 or like this.
Yeah, she's getting frustrated with it.
It's a referral, but then she'd have to kind of start over finding another therapist. But it's her body, and she needs to find the right person.
Right.
So
she's wanting to avoid surgery.
Yes, and she can.
Okay. All right, ladies. Well, let's let Janine get to her next client. And
all right.
If you're ready for her next video, I'll give it to you, or just maybe refresh from the other ones. Just let me know. Megan, just message me, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right. I hope you guys have a good week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.